Good afternoon, everybody. This is Teresa. You're listening to Puffin and Politics 420 Radio. What's good, people? How's everything going? As you know, today's topic is going to be about consumer fees in the United States of America. Now, people, this is a serious situation, and it's very important that we talk and discuss, a lot of the components that exist when we talk about consumer fees in America. I mean, it's gotten outrageous. How long are we going to allow this to happen? We go to the store to make a payment for, for a service that we've already gotten a contract for, and you have to pay them not only for the services rendered, you also have to provide them a fee to accept your tender, which means currency for some of the who may not be know what I'm talking about. Y'all know I'm in the house right now. Got my girl Monique in the house. Meblicious Bikes. What's going on, Big Mo?
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Monique Renee with Malicious Bites.
Mo. Now you know, I went to the store the other day. I go, I pay with my credit card, right?
Right.
So they charge me a fee. Now I leave the store and I go check my ATM. They charge me a fee, right? I go to AT&T, Mobile, T-Mobile, whoever, the cell carrier, whatever, Cricket, whoever, and I go to pay a bill for service rendered, and they're charging me money to pay the bill. What's up with that?
I've been asking myself the same thing. I can go actually to a 99-cent store, if you will, or Vaughn's, and, I do inquire those fees as well. I'm with a different bank, but nonetheless, it's the same issue I have. I'm a consumer myself, and I don't want to go actually to the store and have a fee behind my credit card, have a fee from the store, and the fee from the ATM, which is what they have right there on the counter. Have you ever encountered that?
Exactly, but this is what I'm saying. Tag it up. Tag it up because nine times out of 10, the same organization is receiving this money because they're all tied into a bank. If it's anything merchant services, think about how they're getting you. They're getting you at the restaurant, using your Visa. Anywhere you go, they're getting you. You're going to check money on your own money. Deep to me is that you have people such as phone companies. I am appalled that I have to pay you to accept my money for your service. So what's next? Are we going to have supermarkets that say, "Hey, we got great deals, but you got to pay us to park in the lot to shop in our stores"? I mean, is that the direction that we're going in here in the United States of America? For real? Are we that desperate for money as a country that we have forgot about the passion for our neighbor, and that it's getting out of control? Nobody is screaming about this. We're just paying.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. If you know the word illegal tender or the word legal tender, we've come into an economy now to where it's okay to have an illegal tender, and that's on our own, actually our own funds that we actually produce. Whether it's in a bank, whether it's at a store, whether it's at a car wash, we're actually paying fees on our own money or dollar per dollar. They call it penny and nickel, up to penny nickels and dimes. How much does that resort to?
Well, if you really want to take it down to technical from a financial standpoint, in the accounting, base, that's my area. I know a little sign, but this is public. It ain't nothing. I'm not gloating. I'm just saying. Um, they actually work on the half cent system. Now, United States current law won't produce the half actual point. In the early 50s, they stopped producing it. Don't quote me on but I know that it was before my era, and I'm a 66. So, what I'm saying is we do that we have to, um, exchange or purchase, but it's done scientifically in equations and formulas when it's concerning the deficit or banking or financial programming. So people that are, intellectually inclined are able to gain profit off a half a cent. Now, if a half a cent comes up on your bank statement, the softwares in the country 99.9% of them don't count in a half cent. So it's going to be something that's either go to the greater or the lesser dollar. You feel me?
Yeah.
How many people are screaming about a half a cent? You know what I mean? This is what's tied into with the whole Wall Street situation. The only reason Wall Street is able to do the things that they're doing is because most people are not mathematically inclined to understand the formulas well enough to deem them doing something criminal. That's the whole thing. If they understood what they were really doing and how to, break down those formulas on a financial aspect, they could do it. But there's so much manipulation within code and international funds. If you're not on that and train that, you don't know. So I say that to say, we're talking about a half cent can turn you into a trillionaire overnight, okay? Now, we're paying $3 additional to a company to pay a cell phone bill. And I'm going to speak on a with this. I'm a customer and I want them to know I'm upset about it. I go in, I pay my bill, and then I have to pay you. You're forcing me to go to the internet. Everybody doesn't like putting their credit card information online. It's not that they don't have the credit card capabilities, but every time you turn around, somebody's hacking into this, hacking into that. And then your trusty phone company says, hey, I'll take your money, but I got to pay you because it's going to cost me $3 for my employee to open up this drawer and give you change.
Right. That's the same thing if you think about it. I don't know if you're familiar with prepaid accounts or prepaid credit cards. You're actually having to pay to load your own money onto your own card. And I'm thinking the same thing. Are we paying the teller that extra $3 to actually say, well, hold on a minute and let me load this for you? So instead of actually paying $20, you're paying $23 or $22.
That's true. But see, the difference in a prepaid card is that hidden arrangement in the internal contract. The component of that card is to allow you to use their services. So they're actually charging you. So they're telling you in the beginning that you're going to receive a fee and you understand the charge. However, they're not a banking institution. They're not giving you a service. They're allowing you to walk around with it in your pocket. So I feel more inclined to pay a fee that way. You know what I'm saying? In some cases, base difference than I got to, gas and electric. I got to go and I got to pay you to take my money. You've take these power and industry. You got the phone companies. Okay, let's touch place with like people like AT&T. They used to be everywhere local. Now, where do you go to pay your AT&T bill? You have to depend on Joe Blow's check cashing spot that, is signed up with all the major companies. That's pimping at the highest level. Seriously. Seriously, it's a game. And then you call them direct and they go, oh, if I take your payment over the phone, it's going to cost me $5.
Right.
So what? Are you kidding me? So what they're doing is they're actually trying to force everyone into that electronic banking format. Because if they could have everyone set up on a prepay, or not a prepay, excuse me for that, on a automatic pay system, those half a cents that we don't know nothing, we don't concern ourselves with, they turn into 10 and 20 cents per person, per million, per 100 million people. And this is how these companies get rich, because consumers like you and I, every day, we sit back and we allow this to happen. Look, people, you hear me, Monique, we're live right here, Puffin and Politics, Patient Radio 420, talking about consumer fees in the country. If you are having problems and want to discuss some of your concerns, situations, ask questions of any kind, feel free to call us right now at 619-528-1059 and tell us how you're feeling about, consumer fees in America. Do you think that it's okay for these companies to charge us these outlandish fees and not be able to justify the means? I mean, a person is just pushing a button. You know what I mean? We want to hear from you. Give us a call. Puffin and Politics 420 Radio. All right, everybody, we're back in the house talking about consumer fees in America. What do we do, people? How long do we, allow this to happen? When do we stand up as responsible consumers and say no more? Enough is enough. Everywhere you look, we are being jacked by each other, by every business, because businesses are feeling if I don't do something to secure my path, I'm stupid because everybody else is, doing something to get money. It's all about money. I want to talk to the people out there who are passionate about this nation, about America, about what we're doing, about our children, about what we are, leaving behind, what we're teaching them. It's bad enough that our society alone has become a place where we don't even exercise outside. Everything has now been converted to the indoors. There used to be a time when kids were playing outside. You had bicycles outside. You had parents sitting on the stoop or the step. That's East Coast. In California, out in the front lawns. Now, we've had different phases for crime and drugs in the community that's put people in the houses. And people haven't come back to reclaim their community. This is the time. Reclaim your community. Don't be afraid to sit on your steps. Don't be afraid to plant some plants and come out and get involved with your community. That's the only way you're going to take your neighborhood back because you'll get to see what's going on in the neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? What do you think?
I actually agree. I mean, times have gotten to where we actually think of what we used to do as kids. I'm also a 66 model. And I would like to see that, as I drive down the street and see the little kid that sees me driving by run into his house, you know what I mean? Because he's not sure what's going to happen. We're actually, like you were saying earlier, robbing Peter to pay Paul, not necessarily in a financial, status, but just all over the board. And I feel the same way. What are we going to do to get our community back within good standings?
And that's the whole thing. Because I mean, think about it now. You live in an apartment complex, and we have so many issues. You don't know what your neighbor's doing. We've had the Jeffrey Dahmers. We've had the drug dealers. We've had the prostitutes. We've had the thieves. We've had the domestic violence. The child abuse. The people that leave their kids at home. There are so many reasons why a person's going to come into a new community and they're going to, be distant because you got to be careful. I mean, that's first and foremost. We can't be stupid out here. That's not what it's about. It's about using your brain all the time. But in many situations, you become so closed in that you don't interact with your surroundings. You don't really know, what's going on around you. You get in and out of an apartment and you don't know your neighbor. You don't even know their name. That's kind of bugged out. There's no socialism. Think everything's video games now. We're a house. We got the biggest TVs. I mean, it's gonna be a whole wall. They're just gonna like create a wall screen, and you're gonna just come in the house and say hello, and the TV's gonna come on. I'm ready for it. But that's what's gonna happen. And everybody who wants that big ass camera in their house, taping their world, because that's what it's all about. Don't think that this TV, that all these high techs in and out, people look at the back of your television when you plug it in. You are giving authorization in and out of your TV. I'm not. I'm just saying I'm a little conspiracy theorist, but I believe that I don't know that they're yes, I do.
In the
But I'm
future.
just saying that it happens, and the bigger the TVs is just giving them more range. It's a bigger camera. People need to think about that. I personally, I don't like a TV in my room. I have one in my bedroom, and I've never done this, and I freak out. And so right now, currently, I'm getting ready to create a beautiful shawl for that screen. Won't be peeking on me, you dirty bastards. But people, really, I want to hear from some of the patients. We've got a lot of calls. I got some emails talking about what's going on in San Diego. As you guys know, it is crazy out here. Things are, coming to a head in a sense that there's more understanding. In reference to where patients stand in reference to their safety. We don't know as of yet. I personally, I can only speak for, information that I've received. And let me stop right there and say, we've been having some technical difficulties for people who have been trying to call in on the call-in number 619 51059. If you're calling from your cell phone, there has been some kind of quirky issue. I can't even call from my cell phone to my own house phone. Isn't that bugged out? So, it's saying that the phone connected or it's not connected yet. Keep trying. It's crazy, but if you keep calling in, it's going to stop and it's going to let you get through. Yeah, I got to thank my phone provider for that. But we're working out the kinks, and I hope that everybody, who's trying to get through is able to get through. If not, hit me up. You can text me on my text, Puffin in Politics, 619-288-5199 direct. And I'll call you and tell you what's going on and see what's happening with you and your issues today. Everybody call in. I want to give a shout out to all of my patients and friends out there that are struggling with disabilities. We had a show last week and we talked a lot about relations. We had a station talking about some of the problems and issues that we experience as young adults with disabilities, whether it's intimacy with our relations, partners, or it's just being able to function as a normal human being without thinking about all the things that we're unable to do. You call it pity, say what you want, but until you cannot satisfy your mate, or you're unable to uncomfortable because you have bad flatulence and it's something you can't control, or your bladder spews and you don't have control and it makes you not want to be intimate with your partner. These are some of the things that, some people, they cringe because they don't think about this stuff. But these are the things that we have to deal with every day being, disabled. And especially young adults who have not yet mentally prepared themselves for that geriatric. When you're aging, you're kind of preparing for things to start to fail. But in your young mind, you're thinking, hey, I still got a good few years. I'm eating right. I'm exercising. Well, that was our show. And I did get some emails, and I wanted to have an opportunity to respond first to those emails. Some were very intimate, but I can tell you that I have received one from Kim in North Carolina, actually. And she said that she was really, really shocked at first that I was even bringing this to the table. I started talking about it, and she said she wanted to call. Hey, Kim, if you're listening, thanks for participating again on the show. But she said that she has been dealing with these issues. She didn't get specific. She's a little shy, and I can appreciate that. But she said a lot of things that, nobody understands. When you are disabled, it messes you up. It messes you up on so many levels. It's not just about a physical thing. It's mental. It is mental. You don't think about all those things when you're dealing in that relationship. We can be selfish, and we think about, well, you can do this and you can do that until you turn around and, you're intimate with your partner and they lose their bowels. You know what I'm saying? Are you strong enough of a partner to handle that? Is it safe for your partner to interact with you on that level? Or are you going to just, freak out and, you know what I'm saying? That could really ruin some things. What do you think, Mo?
I actually do agree with that. I'm listening. I don't really know. I haven't experienced that, although I do currently am in a relationship with someone that, is disabled. But, that's actually something to think about. I'm sitting here thinking about it right now. Sometimes, you may think to yourself, oh, the person looks okay. And they're actually really not. But, I think that you should really, find some time to actually talk to your partner, spouse, your, to be able to speak real about it. So we're actually in that situation and you're still saying selfish. No, not me. That's all you. I totally agree. That's just something to think about. I'm glad that you actually put that out there. I hadn't even thought about it. That is something to think about, and maybe something to, get out there to the rest of the community and anyone else that has these disabilities. Wow, that's just a big wow factor.
Well, yeah,
for
that's
me.
last week's show. I think you were out Pasadena somewhere doing your cooking thing. I couldn't get you to get out here. You told me you were on your way. You didn't show up. Oh, did I put that out nationally?
You did.
Anyway.
My apologies.
No worries. But yeah, the show was really deep because, we're going to do another show. I did get a lot of feedback because, again, people were shocked to hear just these different topics, but they don't understand, how serious that is, and how hard it is physically for someone who does have some of these disabilities to actually be able to move forward. And then when they do and make a mistake, that embarrassment is a scar that can't be repaired. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to have that embarrassing moment if you haven't paved that way. And if the person is blocking you and they're not, you know what I'm saying, really there, it can be bad. But we're going to do that on another show because today's show is all about consumer fees in America. You feeling me?
I'm feeling.
And I like to associate fees a lot with the disability community. Until I had to deal with my disability, I took a lot of things for granted. Salary, just being at a job every day and getting a check, every week, working and eating, paying rent, having the ability to do that. I had never been in a situation where I had to live on a fixed income. You know what I mean? And life wasn't the way I wanted it to be, because in your mind, you cannot convince yourself that you're disabled. No matter how much you hurt, you are not going to just take that title and just sit down and be like, here, baby, I can't do no more. I'm going to have to just sit here. And you ain't going to do that. You know what I mean? You're going to get up and say, what am I going to do? We're talking about, how am I going to make things happen? So in that sense, I look at what they offer in the community to those with disabilities. And it's a joke. It's really a joke. Because you've taken people who have pretty much stepped up and said, hey, I'm out of the game. I can't play the game anymore. I'm never going to be a billionaire. This is like Monopoly. Follow me, people, seriously. I'm never going to be a billionaire. I'm in the game. I still own this one house. I'm going to stay right here. If you stop by, pay me. You know what I mean? If not, I'm just going to stay right here. This is all I got. This is where I'm going to be. So, I'm saying, now I should be eligible to dig in that little pot that I've been putting in all these years because I'm messed up. I didn't, jump out of the game to suck the system. I really got hurt, okay? But it doesn't happen like that. When you fall, growing in a career and stabilizing your finances as an adult, it's not about, you're never going to fall. It's about how you're going to fall. Everything that goes up comes down in some kind of, way. It's alpha, omega, yin and yang, whatever positive, negative, right or wrong. It's everything that goes up must come down. Okay. So you can either fall and crash, where you need physical therapy on your whole body for the next 5 years, learn to walk, talk, eat, drink again, or you're going to fall on that financial cushion and be able to ride this whip and everything comes together again. But if you don't do that, you're such as myself, I worked, I had 401k, I had a life. And over a period of time being disabled, you begin to use your everything. I mean, I haven't worked since 2007. You know what I mean? And I go out and only thing they give you is a disability placard. Social Security says, oh, Teresa, I don't care what you're going through. You're not good enough to be disabled through me. Deny me, deny me, deny me. That's another joke. And I'm going to do a whole show on, Social Security and the big ass game and how, they're claiming that they're investigating sick people. I'm sure when they looked at my file that there were more pages than the average bear. They told me no. You know why? Because if they see my face, they'll say, girl, sit down. Ain't nothing wrong with you. How you smiling? You see these people? Because I got a smile. So I just got to start growling at people. What's up? I'm just saying. What do they want from us? Gosh.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm over here kind of cracking up because actually what she says does 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 have a valid point. I actually do watch a couple of people that go in and out of these offices, and I do have friends, including yourself, that come back and tell me that they denied me again. I don't know what you have to be or how you have to come in. Maybe you have to come in, all cracked out, on drugs, and maybe I'm sure you'd get a check that way.
Well,
But
they say now, I wanted to stop and tell all future invested crackheads and addicts that Social Security has changed their policies, and you guys have to find another way to get that freebie.
really,
Yeah, the Social Security Administration advised me that that was an old policy, and it wasn't that they were just approving people, but they recognized drug dependency, alcohol dependency, and those situations as a disability, and people were able to become, disabled for that. Now I don't know what their intentions are as far as recall or anything like that, or if those people are in jeopardy of losing what they have already been approved for,
right.
because that's something to think about. But they did say that they definitely removed that component, and people are being, judged based on their medical situations only, and it's not just dependency. So for those people who thought that I can go and get help for my brother or my sister or my mom or dad, Social Security, it's got to be more than just a dependency. They no longer just accept just a dependency.
Well, that's half the people in America.
Well, I would hate to think that the entire, that the people in America are not good people. And I want to say, and this is right now where I'm getting ready to give big props to San Diego, California. I come from the East Coast, born and raised in New York, Brooklyn all day. Love there, married, had my children there, no forth. But the whole point, I received a lot of love in California, and the love that I received were from innocent people I don't know. Just that cordial hello, ma'am, you dropped your money, ma'am, you dropped your wallet. Running down the hall in Walmart, you left your purse, ma'am, you left your cell phone. Yes, I guess that's telling you how healthy I've been, but it's happened, and every time I go, wow. Because I promise you right now, if I was in Bmore, Bloody Mo, Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, I can't say there's no goodness in Baltimore. I'm not dissing Bmore at all. I'm just talking about some of the strategic challenges that are presented with the drug community and the dishonesty that does exist in certain neighborhoods. You wouldn't want to drop your purse. It's not going to get it back. And just coming over here, you never think that something like that is possible. Somebody returned a wallet, okay? And I had hundreds of dollars in my wallet. The wallet was bulged. The money was sticking, out the sides because I had the little checkbook thing, and I had cashed my check, and the money was in there, and I just put the little flap over it, and I had dropped it. And the person ran up to me, and some of the money was sticking out, and they said, "You dropped your wallet." How easy would it have been for that person to snatch the money and give me the wallet? You know what I mean? Seriously. And I've been thinking about that year after year, just being out in California. And, I think it has to do with, the neighborhood or the up. I don't know what it is, but there is a goodness out here. In the midst of all the other things that we could complain about and we could talk about, when these neighborhoods catch on fire, San Diego, they come together. You know what I mean? They feed these people, they get them blankets, they give them housing. They come together as a community, and that's what I love about San Diego. You don't have to beg. All you do is you get on Fox News and you say, "Hey, John and Bobby's house
That's
burned
right.
down," and San Diego's like, "John and Bobby, we got you."
Hmm.
I don't know that as a town. I know where
Right.
they go, "Damn, John and Bobby, they on the street. Damn, go get that couch." I'm serious. I know it sounds crudball, but there are neighborhoods and places where people don't have that passion for others. And I've seen them, do a lot in certain situations. You know what I mean? And it's not even a range of, it doesn't even have a consistency on an ethnic level. It's all across the board.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter if John or Bobby is Chinese, white, black, Mexican. It doesn't matter. They come together, and they're going to make sure that these people have a house, or they have food, or their kids have something. And you don't hear about them later on. It's like once the community comes together, I'd love to talk to some people in San Diego who have been, approached and received love from the community. And, like, not to get personal in their business, but like, how long did the love go on? Because we only heard about your stress one time.
Right.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. I only heard your stress one time. Next thing I heard is, hey, Bobby and Jen, they're doing great. The kids, whatever. I'm like, whoa, is that a house? They got a, what? That's what's up. That's what community is all about. And I don't think that San Diego really takes time to emphasize on the goodness and the wholesomeness of its people. We got a lot of things that, we get bad attention because, we're right there at the TJ border and yada, yada, yada. But, it's amazing how one person can just throw up one thing and that just, dominates the picture. They don't see the beauty. San Diego is amazing. It's overpriced. I mean, we pay for sunshine out here, people. If you want a nice place, you're paying for sunshine and you're paying for that coastal closeness.
That's where our fees should be going.
You know what I'm saying? But, just keeping it real, even in our communities, a lot, when we're talking about fees, a lot of the small businesses, they don't try to compete with robbing the local patrons. You know what I mean? There's that wholesomeness, that, hey, that Bob the baker, I go in and they, hey, Teresa, how you doing? And that makes me feel good. I can go over to the pizza place and, hey, Teresa, I could walk into the local pub where I go, and you can do that in other places. I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm just saying that it's been such a consistency here, even in strange stores, that don't know you. Their consistency and loyalty to the customers in many cases. Okay. Now, you remember when I had that issue with the people on the corner raising prices. A lot of these stores, for those that do unsavory things, they'll take products that are supposed to be buy one get one free, and then they unwrap the product, and then now they're selling you each one, even though the box says. And then I'm standing there and I'm telling the dude, I said, you know what? Are you trying this in your own community? Are you trying to let this small business jump off right here? And you're trying to tell me that it's okay for you to jack me? Is that what you're trying to I will shut you down. Are you serious? I will have every neighbor in this community knowing that you're only here for the dollar and that you're trying to rob us every opportunity. Is that what you want from me? I got a big mouth. I will pick it in front of your store. If I ever come in your store again and you charge me for a buy one, get one free, you better check yourself and know who you're dealing with, because we are smart consumers. We know our right. We're not stupid. It's enough of that. I don't like going in these little bodegas and the damn shit done expired 2 months ago. And they even if you want me to buy something expired, and it's so bad that, poverty is out there, people. I'm broke. Let me tell you right now, I'm broke. Anything I had is not new. It's what I've been able to hold on to since I've been riding this roller coaster. Trust and believe. But, you got people that they really are struggling. They have huge families, you know what I'm saying? And the ends aren't meeting and the system's not being able to help them, but so much. And they will buy products that are a month old thinking it's okay. It's just 1 month, 2 months. It's okay. But generally, people, those items are on sale. And legally, people, those items should be in a basket for you for free. And technically, it shouldn't even happen because legally, that person could get sued if there's contamination, poisoning, or anything like that that comes from that establishment. Did I cover all grounds? What? So I'm just saying, people, I know that y'all have had some issues with paying fees. And what about, let me tell you one that really pisses me off, okay? The hospital. How in the hell am I supposed to go to the hospital as a patient on a fixed income? In the event of an emergency, I show up at the emergency room. I'm cool. They keep kidding me? Are you serious? How are you going to have a hospital where you can't provide ample parking to your patients? Shut them down. You are forcing these people who are economically unable to fit into your financial process. It is no longer passion for the patient. It's about the dollar demon, period. How are you going to tell somebody that's sick, come to the doctor? You got all these state programs, you got parents, and you wonder why, we have such a low rate of parents showing up at the hospital with their kids for physicals because she can't afford to park the damn car. That's what's stopping her from coming. You're giving her free medical, but she can't park the car. So what's she supposed to do? Get a ticket? She's sick. She can't walk 5 blocks down, but y'all don't deem her sick enough to get a disability sticker. So what's she going to do? She's going to stay home and keep that $5 and buy her children some hot dogs for $1, a loaf of bread for $1, and some juice for $1, and probably have $2 tomorrow to get some eggs and some cheese. That's what she's going to do at the 99-cent store.
I actually agree with that. I've had a couple of instances when I've actually went to the hospital. You don't really want to go to the hospital because, again, what if you don't have that extra $2.50, that extra $3 to pay for parking? You get some people that actually pay for parking that are parked there all day. You know why? Because they are scared to leave actually the parking that they have to come back, pay again. Sometimes there's not even parking, but again, you ever notice that?
Exactly. But
And
that's
you're
what
still
I'm
paying
saying.
to get out.
What happened to the rules and regulations? Another thing that, we can connect into that is these restaurants. If you have a seat for me to sit in, the law, I don't know what California law is, but I know that in a restaurant, and you are a restaurant professional, please tell me if this is not the truth. Are they not breaking the law with not providing a bathroom?
Yes.
Because if you have a chair and a table and a person is able to sit in your establishment, you have to, by law, be able to provide them an opportunity to release themselves.
That is the law.
Okay, so why do we have all these little places? I can understand we have homeless, but get a key like the damn gas station and monitor. Do your job, man.
That's what it is the majority of the time. It's not necessarily, for smaller businesses, they don't want to actually clean up after the people. It has nothing really to do with them being homeless. They're lazy.
Well,
They're
no,
really
what
lazy.
the only reason I mentioned the homeless is because I've personally, me, I've asked the managers. I've talked to them, every single one of them. They always say we have a high homeless community here in San Diego and a lot of prostitution, like in the El Cajon area and, El Cajon Boulevard. And a lot of the girls come in and they like to, use the bathroom to change or wash up or whatever. And then other people can't get in for those places that have just one stall. But I say again, lock it. Don't make that an excuse because you know what hurt me? Let me tell you what hurt me. I was in a store and a woman came. She was 37 years old, and she was holding her front, and she said, "Baby, I need to use the bathroom. Do you have a bathroom?" And they said, "I'm sorry, ma'am, we don't have a public bathroom." And I jumped in, and I said, "Look, here, to look woman. She looked like she's crying in the bathroom. Let the woman go to the bathroom. Are you serious?"
Actually, that's the key word there. We don't have public bathroom. They don't feel that they're actually breaking any rules and regulations, although they are. No, in fact, they are breaking, rules and regulations. But they throw that out there. We don't have public, bathrooms because they really just don't want you to use the bathroom.
People, this is Puffin and Politics 420 Patient Radio. I'm here. This is Teresa, your host. I'm here live with Monique of Meblicious Bites, and we're talking today about the fees, outrageous fees in America, consumer fees, the unnecessary way that all small businesses, not small businesses, I apologize for that, it seems that all businesses find a way to charge us. I'm speaking phone companies, I'm speaking gas and electric companies, I'm speaking everybody. Now, the reason why I'm pissed off with the phone companies, let me tell you why. Any of you who are at home listening to the show right now, what I'd like you to do is pick up your phone bill. And I want you to look at your phone bill page by page. And if you don't have it on page, go online, log onto your phone bill, and look at the itemized charges. You're already being smacked in the head with a 0.3%, a 3 cent this, $5 this, $2 this, 25-cent here, 30-cent there, with these little codes that you don't even know what it is. And you know what I did? I called and I said, well, how can you charge me for something that you can't explain to me what or justify the charge? Take it off my bill. So for a while, it actually was removed from my bill. And then after a while, it came back to my bill. And now they can't even remove it from your bill because they're calling everything a what? A federal charge. So this means that we shouldn't be mad at the small or large businesses. We need to be then again mad at the federal government because it seems as though they need to get paid on everybody's venture. No matter what you're doing, they can't stand alone in their own financial situation because they've screwed up deficit. So they come after the small business and the medium and the large businesses, and they hit them so hard that these people have no choice but to recoup fees. They can't stay alive if they don't charge some of these outlandish fees. It's force fed because if you're the only one that's not doing it, you're probably not successful in your business. You know, a lot of businesses get charged just to accept your credit card. This is all bullshit. If you came to bank and was like I had a MasterCard with my mom. She gave me the junior card. Yes. But the whole thing was, we've gotten it. Credit has advanced so much, and the extension of credit, and nobody really, the average person doesn't understand the CBRA. There are regulations through the damn. Why did my mind go blank? There are limitations when contractual exchanging credit to consumers. That's what I'm trying to say. And I was trying to say the Fair Trade Commission is the person that regulates that, that situation. And there are rules to what can be done and how your pricing and things like that, what you can and cannot do to, as a business to a consumer. And instead of people just going and reading about the consumer side, it's really good to take an opportunity to go and look at it from this so you can see what these businesses are allowed to do to you and how you can defend yourself. And, you can go to federaltrade.org. I don't know if it's federaltrade.gov. You can Google it and, look and read. People know what people can do to you because we're at a stage here in the United States of America that enough is enough and we're not taking it anymore. You're not going to tell me that I got to pay you to pay you. I've already said I like your service, and I've already come to you as a customer. You've already locked me into a contract. You already told me if I get out of the contract, you're going to spank me with a fee. You already hit me with monthly fees. You're already hitting me with the government fees. You're already hitting me with all the surcharges and all the taxes. And then you're going to turn around and tell me, oh, and by the way, you got to pay me to pay me. So if you want me to take your money to keep the service that I'm offering you, you have to pay me to take your tender. It's sickening. And we as a people need to stand up about it. I will march on Sacramento. For anybody who wants to work with me to petition against these companies for what they're doing to us, I am here. You can reach me on my cell phone, 619-288-5199, or you can call me, 619-528-1059. You can reach me at puffinandpolitics@gmail.com. You can also reach me at Teresa at puffinandpolitics.com or Teresa at giftsbyteresa.com. Google me. I'm out there, Teresa E. Edwards, right here, San Diego, California, Puffin and Politics, because I'm sick of it. And it's not just in San Diego, people. This is all over. We have to say enough is enough. If you're not a business able to stand on your own, don't fake it so that you can receive the federal kickback and benefit from being a corporation. The bank, the fees. We don't bank out of all banks. What would you do then? You are nothing without the people. The banks are nothing without us. You can transfer that paper that means nothing back and forth all day long, but without the support of customers, if we kept our money at home, we could still go somewhere and buy something. We don't need a bank to buy anything.
I agree.
And these banks need to think about that. We don't need you. We don't need you. Really. When people start getting into a barter and trade and knowing how to walk up to somebody and say, I want to sell my car. I don't need a bank for that. I already got my money. I earned my money. Know your place, financial institution of America. You need the people. The people don't need you. That's how I feel. You jacking us over and over and over again and from every which way possible. And enough's got to be enough. Justify these fees. Tell me that this employee that took my money and it took, less than a minute Because we're talking seconds. Most transactions in the store, you come in, they put your phone number in. It's a 45-second, 55-second. We haven't even hit 60 seconds before I'm walking out the door. And right now, so the going rate is $3 per second. You know what I'm saying? $3 a second. So then I need to challenge California and the United States of America on the wages of people. That means people ain't getting paid fairly. So that means you took this money because this person had to do an additional function. So that means you need to reevaluate your employees and give them more money. Don't play with me. I'm the one to tell it like it is. Y'all ganking people and you're creating these little slaves, and these people are working, and you're just getting money every way you can from the people. We don't need y'all. And y'all need, one day, we as a people, United States of America, we're going to step up and we're going to say no more. And I'd love to see people step up and say no banking for a day. For one day. You know how much money they would miss for one day? Let's put it together, people. Puffin in Politics is going to try to put together a page to shut down banking for a day. We're going to shut them down and show them how it feels for one day without our money. We don't need the banks. They need to get their fees together, and maybe these other businesses, they'll understand the passion behind the people. Stop raping us. Show us that you're here. You got all these hundreds of millions worth of commercials. You spew about you're there. It all balls out. If we don't have no money, you look at us like we're nothing, because we are nothing but numbers to you. So I'd really like to work with people who are passionate about this financial movement. You know, this is let's occupy. This is occupy. You know, I'm gonna name it something for real, because I'm tired of it. And then you get on the phone with the customer service. They don't even know the damn rules. Now, I know a lot of you got your phone bills and stuff, and you don't really, I'm one of those quirky people. I'm reading the back of my phone bill. You know that little thing you got to go get a magnifying glass? I read that. I do. So when I talk to customer service and they start blaring off, I say, sweetheart, I want you to stop what you're saying to me. I want you to take a moment and go grab in the printer. There should be a page that shows you the rules and regulations, for your company on the back. I'm on page 3 of mine. Can you join me? Paragraph, the top sentence, surcharges and late fees. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, if you don't show them you know what you're talking about, they're going to play you. They are designed to play you. That's what the job is. You get the job and they tell you what they want you to say. So, when you sit down and you really think about it from that perspective, they're only doing their job. It's the big people. The people who are making these financial decisions because they're getting bonuses off of you. It's enough is enough. I don't mind paying. None of us mind paying. Everybody has a cell phone. Everybody, not everybody has a house phone anymore, but everybody almost has a cell phone. Everybody has gas and electric. Stop with the damn fees. We need you. We need gas and electric. You know what I'm saying? But it's sad we do, because if we were strong enough as a nation, we would be able to handle and be able to live without gas and electric. And I'm about to take it a bit further. I'm that sister, cut it off. Because guess what? I got a tent. I know how to fish. I know how to hunt if I have to. I know how to plant some vegetables, medicine. I know how to do what I need to do to survive. And it's serious. We've taken that out from our kids. They don't teach these things in school anymore. Everybody's got an organization. They're against something. You're against life. You're against life skills. Are you serious? That's all about. Come on. Because if they shut the lights down and there's no power in this country, there's so many people that are going to run around like roaches. They don't know what to do without their cell phone. They don't know how to cook without being able to go to recipe.com and make. I ain't playing. This is real talk. The internet has provided life to people. And you got women don't know how to cook the internet with some pictures, and they could stop and pause a video. They like, what? Wait, he put the butter, it looked like that. Oh, that is helping a lot of people do a lot of things. But what would you do with internet? You ever thought about that? Come on now. I'm going to have to, you know what? We're going to stop talking about the internet, because that's a whole nother show. Puffin in Politics, we're going to be doing a show next week talking about the internet and the takeover, how the government is upset about the free speech, and, how they'd like to shut us down and close off the voices. That's what, that's what they'd really like to do, given an opportunity. But again, you have internet now. Don't wait until they change their voice. And this way and something is too late. That's why the laws are set up the way they are in the government. You can't change your mind. And for those of us who with limited educational, no backsies.
No vaccines, right?
You know what I'm saying? No backsies. You can't take it back. You voted, haha, dummy. But then, when they present the laws and they present, political agenda, everything is so there, thar, far, thar, this, that, and the other, and if thou just, and this. The average person is going, what? What? And that. And they do that on purpose.
This is what we're succumbing from or to today.
Exactly.
Actually.
Exactly. But come on, let me tell you how it's even deeper. My level. You've got people that are taking this, okay? And they don't realize that they are removing the book from man. You see, this is deep for me. I don't give up books. That's my tangible. Let me read that. With access to the internet, you can change stories. You can change history. You can make things seem as if, the way you want it to. It's a dangerous thing if used improperly. Those with unsavory intentions can definitely create a whole world for the next generations. Okay, they can wash and do whatever they want to do. So now they realize what they did. They opened this box. Everybody's on it. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely could turn out to be crazy. What do you think? I see you looking over there crazy. What do you think?
Right. I actually agree. Sometimes, you got to sit back and say, and I feel the same way. You've got my mind going, as I'm looking at the internet here. I don't know what I would do without the internet. I mean, honestly, people, do we even think about, soon there's going to be a fee in our own house other than, coming in through Cox Cable or AT&T or whatever you have set up your provider to actually be able to log on to the internet. And again, there's another fee. So,
how about, let's stop right there. How about the fee of, okay, the Android phones or the smartphones, what they call them.
Right.
Okay, tell me now. Both of you think about it like this. If you get the internet at home, do they charge you for data? No, it's the internet, right?
It's the internet.
But now you get it on the phone. You pretty much are paying two plans. Damn that. You have to have a data plan and a service plan.
Right.
Then you have fees per plan. Okay? Bam, bam. They didn't hit you. So really, you really paying double. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't have to be like that.
And if you exceed that and you don't have an unlimited plan, there's more fees.
Exactly. And if you're late paying those fees, there's more fees. You see what I'm saying? Come on now. This is outrageous. And the whole thing is we're paying the people. Nobody's saying anything about it. It's okay. Just pay. Just pay. I'm on a fixed income. I fight for every penny. So those of y'all see me coming, I'm acting like I'm in Delancey all day long. New York in the house. I'm trying to, what'd you say? It was $5? I got 3. And then you pause. I'm just saying that's exactly, I don't have it. So I'll be out here trying to, $30. That's $30. You spitting at me like what dollars? Now let me tell you what I'm gonna do. For $5. No, just joking.
And an envelope.
Okay. I'm gonna slide it to you. Now I don't want you to let people know, that I'm paying you $5. Make them think I'm doing this. I'm joking, people.
Hilarious.
We just having a little comedy trying to, break the monotony because we're actually being screwed all over. Every consumer in the United States of America and abroad, I'm sure, is different. I've been abroad on many different countries, so you call in. 619-520-1059. We're coming to the close. We're going to be closing the show in a minute. It's for 5:20. We're going to do 1 hour right now. Currently, we're doing the show Wednesday and Friday. I'm not a big corporate guru, people. I am just me. I'm a patient. Like you guys know, I've got a multitude of medical issues. I've been dealing with disability for quite some time, and I just want to share my experiences and speak passionately about Bible as a citizen of the United States of America. I'm very patriotic, and this is the only place that I can speak on that I know when I go, they're holding open arms for me no matter what the situation is. If I need some system, we talk about them. There are programs. We have love in the US. I can't go other places and get love the way I can here in America. So if that makes me sound anyway in contradiction to my outbursts, please place that energy in its right place. I love my country. I never would never denounce anything like that, but I just don't like the structure unto which people are running our country. I want that to be known. Okay, that's how we do it.
With that, I would say listen and read your frame.
Exactly. And reading is fundamental, people. At this day and age, a lot of things have been done, and everything's a visual world. We're demanding to see, and for those of us who are old enough to remember gathering around radio, as a family, and last show on the radio, and just be so at one with one another. We love for people to not care about how I look, but hear what I'm saying. It's not about what designer shirt I'm wearing or what color my nail polish is or if I got lip gloss on. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to share, knowledge. I'm here to gain and learn from the people. I'm here to fight for my rights and the rights of the people. And I only speak about what I'm passionate about. I'm not about TNA sector. I'm not about, let's just go get whacked out. That's not me. There has to be purpose behind everything I do. So a lot of people, they reach out to me and they don't understand why, that I'm not doing this with this person, or I'm not down with this crew, and I'm not running here with these people. It's because if you don't have any sustenance, if you don't have true passion for what you do in relation to the cause, then Puffin in Politics is not for you. Because I'm a patient, and I'm fighting for patience. I'm fighting for quality of life. I'm fighting for those who cannot fight for themselves. That's what it's all about.
And I'm sure for those of you, I'm not a patient. Some of the majority of you out there do have friends and families that are true patients, even if you're not, calling in or speaking amongst yourself. Be a supporter. I myself, I do support Teresa 1,000%. Just having that extra voice out there goes a long way. It actually goes a long way, people.
Exactly, especially keeping hold that we need voices for those who have truly experienced it, the ups and downs and the indifferences and the challenges that become a patient and a medicinal patient. This is a different world, people. Don't take for granted. This is not a party. You don't know what it's like to be disabled and have to deal and do things differently just to maintain yourself and function as a normal person every day of your life. You know what I'm saying? When you judge somebody again or you deal with somebody and their attitude is bad, why don't you think about giving them a hug instead of adding to their problem? Because there's things that we think about and you don't have a clue. Seriously, you don't even have a clue. So, I'm compassionate about that. I'm passionate about that. These are personal experiences, and, I will speak and be here for the people until I can. Until I can. Every day, a lot of people go, you, and my God, you have, you should, which is on different occasions, and he's a great dude. I never have problems getting my stuff. He does great work, and he's passionate, and he's for the community. And, I stay away from them. Neutral. Good to you with that. But it's really important to understand that everybody that has a face on the internet, many people try to be. I'm getting money, and no, that I'm sorry. Puffin the page and I am a patient volunteers. I'd love to have to work with people who are sincere about this movement, who will want to, get knee deep in dealing with other people with disabilities, and we come together because I can only sit in a chair so long to type up information. I can only sit on the phone. I mean, on in the chair so long to tell you about what I'm passionate about for this hour, and I can't do it all. I just want people to know that everything that I've ever said that I want to do for Puffin and Politics, I'm sincere about that. I'm passionate about that. I want to be, that one passionate place for our community to employ, hundreds, millions of medicinal patients, giving them love. You know what I mean? And us to continue to bring word and bring positive knowledge to those who want to reach out to this community. And it's 420, 520, y'all. I want to thank everybody for joining us today for the show. And we will be again here on Friday. We're going to have Open Friday. That's going to have different people with different topics. So feel free to call in on Friday's show. I will be on Black and White Show with Frank Johnson tomorrow. I'll post the link. What's up, Frank? And April Johnson, they have the Women Speak Radio. I hope I did not put that out wrong, but definitely I will put some links on my page so you'll be able to find these guys. I love you guys. Thanks for taking time to listen to Puffin and Politics 420 Radio. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.